Hey everybody, welcome back around to the Blog and Grill. I'm your host, Doug, here with your video blog for June 2nd, 2014. We are back after a long vacation and better than ever. A great blog planned for you today. We're going to have your New York sports update as one team in New York's going the right way, one's going the wrong way. Knicks talk head coach, MLB Power Rankings, Heat Spurs finals previews begin. But first I want to get to the biggest story of the past probably 5 days, the sale of the Los Angeles Clippers. The Los Angeles Clippers, I mean, this is just one of, I've been thinking about a lot of stuff, and this has to be one of the most interesting business transactions of all time. This is so fascinating how this all went down. So basically what happened, Steve Ballmer put in a bid, and he buys the Clippers for $2 billion, okay? And you can ask a lot of people around the business world, if you look back about 6 weeks ago before this all started. So let's go back about 2 months. Let's go back to April. Donald Sterling hasn't said anything. He's still the Clippers owner. If he's deemed incapacitated at that point and Shelly Sterling decides she wants to sell the team, the main guy I'm looking at, Darren Ravel from Los Angeles, says the Clippers at that point worth $900 million, okay? So that is just mind-blowing, okay? Donald Sterling comes out, bigoted remarks, a disaster of an interview with Anderson Cooper, slams Magic Johnson, and makes a $1.1 billion profit. I mean, increases the sale of this team by $1.1 billion. I mean, it is just unbelievable how this went down. I like that Steve Ballmer's going to be the owner now, but this is just, I can't even answer why. It's just, they become such a hot commodity, and it's going to be interesting to see how this transaction affects the value of other teams, especially even in other sports like the NFL, like Major League Baseball, and even the NHL. It's going to affect everybody, and it's just so mind-blowing that this team was sold for $2 billion, and the previous high NBA team was sold for, I believe, $565 million, and that was the Milwaukee Bucks just about 2 weeks ago. Okay, so this is just insane to me. They sell for $2 billion because their owner comes out and has racist remarks, bad interviews, and slams an LA icon. It's just unbelievable to hear. But when it got down to that, the bids came in, and the bids always drive the value up, okay? It's not even, the team is not worth $2 billion, but that is what they had to pay to get that team. It's just mind-blowing. It's interesting, and it's going to be even more interesting as this continues, as now the sale has been approved. Getting on to the court, the finals preview. We have the finals everybody wanted. Heat versus Spurs. It's going to be an exciting rematch, a series that went 7. Spurs probably should have won it in 6 last year. And it's going to come down to some key matchups and some key injuries. The key injury to watch has to be Tony Parker. Tony Parker is set to play Game 1 with that hamstring strain. If he can play and be effective, they're going to be in great shape, the Spurs are. I still think they can win the series with Bellinelli, with Patty Mills, and with Manu Ginobili running the show for them. The key matchups I'm looking at is who can contain LeBron James. Can Kawhi Leonard contain LeBron James enough to take some of the focus off him and make Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade beat you, okay? And the final thing to look at is how will Miami deal with the Spurs size of Tiago Splitter, of Boris Diaw, of Tim Duncan. It's going to be interesting to see, and I think the Spurs have too many weapons. The Heat, kind of on that back nine with that roster. They do have LeBron James. That's why I'm picking this one to go 7, and I'm taking San Antonio in 7 to win this series and win another title with Greg Popovich, and maybe the final one with this big 3. I don't know what Ginobili and Duncan are going to do, or Parker, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. We'll have a lot more on the NBA Finals as we get ready for Game 1 on Thursday night, as we'll talk Game 1 on Wednesday on the blog. Time for your MLB Power Rankings for the last 2 weeks as we get it shaked up quite a bit. Coming in at number 5 this week, the Detroit Tigers, 31-22, 5-8. Kind of struggling. They're kind of playing down to their competition in that Central, but they're still playing pretty well as well. Toronto Blue Jays up to number 4, led by Edwin Encarnacion, 34-24. I like what they're doing. They're pitching the ball better. Mark Burley's 10-1, and they're rolling right now. At number 3 are the Milwaukee Brewers with Ryan Braun, the leader in the clubhouse with the All-Star votes. They're at 34-23, 7-4 over the past 2 weeks. Solid stretch for them. Oakland A's kind of starting to come back down to earth. They're at 35-22, 6-6 overall. And finally at number 1, the San Francisco Giants, 37-20, 9-2 over their past couple of weeks, and they're playing some solid ball at this point, led by a outstanding pitching staff, led by Matt Cain, who now could be going on to the DL. My loser of the week, Atlanta Braves, they fall to number 6, and my team to watch are the Boston Red Sox. They lose 10 straight, now they've won 7 straight, and they're up to number 13 in the Power Rankings, making a move upward. Time for your New York sports update. Yankees over the weekend dropped 2 out of 3 to the Twins. They are now sitting at 29-26, just 3.5 games back of the Toronto Blue Jays. And the closer spot could be up for grabs in New York. David Robertson blows the save. His second blown save of the year, gives up 5 earned runs. And the guy that's making a play for it is one of the killer bees, Dellin Betances. The guy's pitching out of his mind right now. Threw 10 pitches yesterday and got 3 strikeouts. We'll see what he can do. Yankees got a makeup game tonight with the Mariners before Oakland comes to town. It's going to be Felix Hernandez, 7-1, 2.57, versus David Phelps, 1-2, 3.38. That game will throw first pitch right around 7:05. Mets take 3 out of 4 from the Phillies. They play one more of the Phillies today. They're now 2 games under 500, just 4 back in the NL East. They're at the Phillies, as I said. Cologne, 4-5, 4.73 versus Roberto Hernandez, 2-2, 3.76. That game will start right around 7 as well. And the Knicks coaching job still up in the air. Derek Fisher says he's not ready to decide whether he will go to the bench or go back to the court next year. We'll be back on Wednesday with more fun stuff, NBA Finals. We'll talk some NFL as we're going to do a comparison between Johnny Manziel and Robert Griffin III. We'll also have headlines as well. Always remember to follow me on Twitter at YankeeBaller415. That is YankeeBaller415. Comment on my page. Ask me a question. I'll answer it live on the blog. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in to the Blog and Grill. I will be back on Wednesday. Have a good start to your week.